Hello, beautiful human. So, in honor of embodied safety going into our choice section now, I want to share broader to all of you two choice challenges that come up in the interior individual space. Of course, there's other lenses to look at, exterior, collectives, all that. So this is two choice challenges that tend to come up, and medicine for that, two choice games that you can play and have fun with. So sometimes, practices are beautiful, and in this case, especially with choice, play is especially medicinal. So let me share the choice challenges. So one of them is when everything is a bit overwhelming, and you feel like, can't even identify any type of choice, right? Either you're overwhelmed with too many choices, or it's just like a state of overwhelm and disorientation. And like, where do I go from here? So that's one. Choice challenges. Okay, overwhelm. Yes. Overwhelm. And the other thing that's happening there is undifferentiated experience. It's like everything is everything. Everything is everywhere. Everything is a blur. So I find disorientation is a real tip-off of being in this state. And so the medicinal game for it is kind of in the definition of it, as it tends to be if we really define stuff. So undifferentiated undifferentiated blur. So this tends to happen if you're, at least for me, if I'm on the lower side of resilience, maybe very tired, everything kind of blends into each other. What do I even do in this moment, right? So one of the choice games that you can play in this moment, I call it the eye doctor game. And you think of going to the eye doctor, and it doesn't really seem like a game, but they do something really wise there that we can use here, which helps us with this undifferentiated blur thing, right? When we're going for like a prescription, we want to get clear. So what do? They, show us the thing, and it's like 1, and then they flip it to the other side, or 2. Which one's better? 1 or 2? Yeah? So the eye doctor game, how can you actually apply that in your life? Well, come up with a contrast, a very simple contrast. And maybe the contrast is something like standing or sitting. Standing or sitting. And then you do the contrast. Stand up, feel yourself standing. Do I like this? Then sit. How about that? This or that? Which one's better? Which one do I like better in this moment? Let's say it's standing. So now you might say, inside or outside? Would I rather be inside or outside? Okay. So feel yourself inside. What does that feel like? Feel yourself outside. What does that feel like? What do I like better? So it's a really, really simple, which is what you need when is what's needed if you're having a rough go of it. Very, very, very simple contrasts. This or that. Up or down, left or right. Eating something or not eating something, right? Take a bite of something. Do I rather be eating something now or not? It sounds really simple, but boy, is it helpful if you're really in a moment of struggling to eventually get to a place where you can start to have you're more in a state of choice. So there's more differentiation, and you can start to picture, it would actually be really lovely in this moment to be in this place over here and talking to this person, or something much more complex. But if you're really struggling, if you're in this undifferentiated blur, overwhelm, everything's like going together, is this better, this or that? Two opposites. So, 𝗖𝗵 game. So that's the game you can play. That's the game I play if I ever get to that point, which luckily is very rare now. So, still happens though, sometimes. So, 𝗖𝗵 game. Yeah, that's a big one. Oh, I wrote it darker that time. Cool. Okay. So that's one thing that can happen with choice. So now you've got this or that, and that's really useful just to get to a place of, okay, now I'm here. So what's the other challenge we can have with choice? The other challenge we can have with choice is all or nothing. Is exactly that, this or that, right? Getting stuck in a binary, essentially. So, all or nothing, all or nothing. All or nothing binaries. Binaries are really helpful teaching tools, so that's why the 𝗖𝗵 game is great. And eventually, starts to get clearer and clearer picture. But if we get stuck in that, it's like we only see this or that, feel a sense of being stuck. So let me give an example, like a story. So something that I had noticed was, there's a big one, right? Dominant submission. There's a big binary right there. And if you have that sense of that binary and you draw yourself to one end of or you draw against another end, I definitely don't want to be dominance. Well, now I'm stuck, right, with the other one. So let's just look at that one. Dominance. Submission. Okay. So, and for me, the submission was more, it's becomes more of a pleasing orientation, orienting towards a pleasing. And the way that we sometimes describe it in our house is that the dominant is like a brittle piece of pasta, okay, that hasn't been cooked yet. The submission is like mushy pasta, right? And so we want to get that al dente, right? That's what we're always looking for. So the first thing that can be supportive with this kind of, if you find yourself stuck in this binary, well, I definitely don't want to be that, so this. So the first thing is, a lot of times we're pretty aware of what we don't like about the side that we tend to be on. So let's say it's the submission side. the 𝗕𝗵𝗹𝗆𝗀𝗀. If I'm like, oh yeah, that's a tendency, the pleasing. Okay, what do I actually like about that side? So try this out with me in this moment. So just take on a little bit of that side of like what it feels like to be in that sort of 𝗕𝗵𝗹𝗆𝗀 orientation. Just kind of feel it in yourself. And just notice what do you like about this? What is enjoyable? What do you appreciate? What positive quality does it bring to you? Yeah, for me, it feels like there's a tenderness there. There's like a vulnerability, there's a warmth, there's a kind of sweetness there. I really value those things. So I think the first is to befriend what your tendency or what you're already doing. Befriend it a little bit. Like, oh yeah, there's some positive qualities in it. So we probably already know what we don't like about the 𝗕𝗵𝗹𝗆𝗀 side. It's not very clear. Boundaries are often challenging with it, right? And clarity is one of the biggest things that gets lost on that side. Also, a sense of energy can get lost. It's kind of like, whoa, I'm just like floating in the space, right? Kind of back to that differentiation again, like, am I differentiated? So, the next part of the game is to go to the other side, right? To go to the opposite. And so you might have started at the other end if you tend toward the other end of it. But for now, go to that side, the dominant side, the dominance. And so you can start to embody a little bit of that. And one way you can do it, if you're like, how do I even do that? Is you might just think of someone like who you think of as being that way, whatever way seems kind of foreign to you, and take it on as an embodied posture, as an embodied shape. So let it inform your shape right now. And one thing I can say to support that with this dominant side is there's more tone coming through the system. So you might press into the ground with your feet, press down to your thighs with your hands. Feel a little bit more energy coming through. Maybe it starts to become a little bit rigid. You go a little bit too far on that. Just start to feel that. Right? You might even start to take this kind of one foot in front of the other, this sort of like authority posture, just like extending forward, right? You can already see it start to broaden. It's like, ooh, to go this way. It's something. Just to like, wow, right? Feel that. It's like being on top of something, right? It's like, in this moment, we're just like standing here in a room, Just to let that be in our systems a little bit. It's like, what is it that I can say is helpful about this? It's like, oh, there's an up. There's like an up here that's really helpful to me. Yeah, there's a length. There's a length that comes through for me. The tone is really supportive. If I go too far, it feels I feel disconnected from a sense of like another person. But if I don't go too far, it's just like, oh, it's just a little bit more energy, a little bit more tone. So just finding what are the positive qualities in it, right? I think we pretty much know. We're like very familiar with the negative qualities of what happens when this dominance gets disconnected from the positive qualities of the other side. And again, there's not like this opposites thing. There aren't really any opposites, right? Like, what's the opposite of a bird song, right? It's like, but they're teaching tools. They're teaching tools just to help us learn. So then the game is, we've now gone some of the positive qualities of one, some of the positive qualities of the other. And now we go to this place, we include both. So what did I like about the first one? Oh, there's warmth in my heart. There's spaciousness. There's like this like fluid quality, right? Okay, whatever it is for you. What do I like about the other one? Well, I can feel this up. I like that. There's a link that comes through my system. There's a little more energy. There's a little more like, whoa, there's a world up there, you know? Something about that. It's really joyful. And can they coexist? I bring them together and they coexist and inform my being? And right there, so just allowing that in yourself right now. Got a little bit of what you like over here, a little bit of what you like over there. Feeling them, coexisting, mutually supporting each other at the same time. So just feel that. Feel it shape you. Yeah. And maybe there's a word or a picture, an image, something that represents that integration for you, what it feels like. For me, what was really supportive was the word serve. Yeah. Serve, don't please. That was a good mantra last year. Serve. So it might be a different word for you, but whatever it is, something that brings those together. And you can do this with any rock and hard place. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Any of those binaries. Well, I'm not going to be that. I really don't like that. So I'm kind of stuck over here, right? Any of those. Just embodying first the one where it's more comfortable. What are the positive qualities? And shifting to the other one. What can I like about this? There's something I can appreciate. Really just sticking with the pure sensory signals. And then bringing them together, coexisting. What's that word? So what happens there is we basically played this game of including both sides and then transcending it. Otherwise, we're stuck with the binary. So we've done that, transcended it by including both, not by dismissing them, pushing them away, but including both of them within us, and then we transcend. So that is it's a Transcend and Include game. There's other games, but that's another one. So have fun. Have fun with that. And more soon.